Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. It must be love. How are you doing?
We're doing good. How are you? Are you on vacation now?
Yeah. I'm in, but actually been on a dam with the lawyers because of the NC court case. In 3 days straight, I've been with lawyers
Right.
over Zoom,
Mm.
getting ready for the trial. Starts on the 13th
Right.
in Toronto. So I have to cut my vacation short. I got to go to Toronto and get ready for the trial.
Okay.
So it is crazy because that's when our people ordered us to leave the Métis National Council in 2019, advising us that if Métis Nation Ontario continues to bring all these people in and continue to drive them in to be part of the nation, that MMF has to withdraw. So when we withdrew from the Métis National Council, I dealt with some of the employees that wanted to leave because they're being treated such horrendous ways by the officials representing the provinces, and the statements made to them were quite disturbing. And they were, after 30 years of service, a lot of them, like Mark Leclerc and John Weinstein, they served over 30 years, and they were just criticized by the staff of course, the presidents that were fighting the NC and fighting us. Mm-hmm. Then they called what they called a scorched earth policy. That's what they took us to court on, saying that the MMF was trying to destroy the MNC because we wanted to make ourselves bigger than them, which is absolutely crazy and absolute lie. And so, but they took us to court, so we have to go to court to fight now to defend. And we won on 2 cases already, so people remind people we won twice already on 2 different arguments. We had to pay our lawyers back our $270,000 we spent. Mm-hmm. So they spent over $270,000 for sure themselves, so they're spending a lot of money. And unfortunately, I did too good, I guess. I negotiated a lot of money for them when I was there. And so now they're using that money to take us to court. So that's going to, of course, affect my little holiday I was trying to have. And I'll be heading to Toronto. I'll be staying in Toronto for a couple of weeks, living in a damn hotel. I hate those. I'm just tired of hotels. But I got to go live out there for a couple weeks. So, but otherwise, that's boring stuff. But it's something I still got to do. Good news on other stuff. We're still climbing on our homeowners. It's 1,186 now confirmed. Wow. We spent $16.6 million in putting down payments for their first-time homebuyer program. So far, they've got mortgages of $281 million. So that tells you just the impact our people are making, and it shows you how many of our people are actually working and have jobs and can retain a mortgage and buy a home. That's the head start they've been searching for, and a good head start for their kids. So it actually they can do an analysis of what the benefit is to the city, to the province. Mm-hmm. The economic spin-off was about $60 million and created almost about 500 jobs throughout. So that puts about 2,500. Well, really, they do data. It shows 2,444 citizens in houses now that are living in there with their kids, including about 700 kids living there now. So with their families. So again, it just shows you that the progress we're making. I think Mr. Goodon and all his team, and of course Lou Riel Institute, Capital Corporation, for being part of the team and assisting them to get their mortgage loans and so forth. So, but this is one of the most advanced programs in Canada. We are the most successful program in Canada, and I think that the families that raise their kids to look towards the future, raise their kids to work hard, raise their kids to want a future for their children, to leave an asset for their kids one day when they age out, and then they get older, and then their kids will have one home that they can sell or buy or develop or whatever they want to do. But it'll give their kids a good head start. So I just think the families because we've always had our own homes, but we may have been poor, but we had homes, So, but as life progressed, lots of us lost lots of our homes, and a lot of people, lack of unemployment, loss of jobs, and all our economy started to fall apart. Then end up being on welfare, and then the houses you lived on were turned over back to the government. Right. So, but now there's some owners, and this is a program we talk about in cabinet because others have looked at it, others echoed it and saying, "Wow, what a success!" So it keeps on showing that we will continue to to advance. And this is just one. The education was another great success. There's estimated 2,000 students in university and college. So that's going to be, those are all going to end up having jobs. So think about that. It's over 2,000 new students coming in that are going to graduate one day, and they're going to be buying a home. They're going to be getting a mortgage. They're going to be buying vehicles and buying products for their families. And you start looking, that's 2,000 annually that we're getting in the university. So that's a powerful impact we're making. Not only are we buying all the capital buildings downtown for investment, but also supporting our downtown, which we got good accolades from many non-Métis citizens and leaders who recommend. There's a good article by, I think, Martin Cash in the Free Press, where he talked about the downtown falling apart. And he said the traditional people that have always bailed it out, like these big businesses, were not there anymore. They kind of gave up on it. But out of nowhere, it came to MMF. So he said it was quite a surprise, but clearly one that should have been probably happening many moons ago. We had the economic vision and also resources behind us. So, but again, there's a video. I don't think they put it on our website yet, but there's a video somebody did, and they show all the buildings downtown, and you can see the red lines on our building now that we developed because it's red of our flags. And you'll see the MMF sign on the top, along with all the other tallest buildings we have in the city of Winnipeg. So now that's owned by the Métis people. So that's a powerful statement. You've seen a lot of you have probably seen Mona on the news. If not, she'll be in the news articles today. I read some of them yesterday. Mona is, of course, the minister. Mona Bures is the Minister for Child and Family Services. And there's talk of a strike by Child and Family Services. Of course, that strike potentially could happen. And I know the union has been talking to their membership, and they're talking about that what's happening to them is not fair. And I totally agree with them. What's happening to them is not fair. For example, even the child maintenance, basic maintenance rates are the same since 2012, $22. Like you can't. What can you afford with $22? Everything's gone up, and but the support has not gone up by the province. So we've echoed that to the new government, to Rob and to his team, and saying, look, something's got to be done. You cannot keep on leaving our agencies so far behind. But what's strange about all this is that the non-Indigenous agencies have got increases. So we, as Indigenous agencies, never got the increases. So it's kind of racism and discrimination there, if you ask me. But clearly, it's something that's got to be fixed very quickly. We're talking about children's lives. We're talking about safety. We're talking about family. So at the end of the day, the province has the fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the proper funding is in place. They have the mandate. We have a mandate to deliver on their policies that they have given us, and at the same time base their funding on a formula that's not working. And so that formula has come back to really have an impact on the way our agencies can afford to run and afford to pay. And that truly is not the way we should be running our system. We should be running in a place where we give them the best we can so they can do the best they could. So when you look at it from that prospect, I think First Nations were offering, because they get more money than us. They get a lot more than us. They get First Nation, get money from Canada, and they also get money from the province. So we don't get money from Canada. We're working on that. That's what you hear me talk on the show sometimes on Bill 92. Yeah. Bill 92 is a transition of Child and Family Services that Canada is stepping in to be a partner to Child and Family for the Métis. And so we've negotiated that agreement already. Zach is representing us at these negotiations. Zach Arter, he works in my office. And so they've come to terms with the language. They come to terms with the expectations of the arrangement and agreement. The resources are in the final stages, should be there. All we need is the signing now of the minister. And that will bring a new influx of resources. But that does not still solve the problem. The problem is the province has been underfunding us during the Pallister era, and everybody knew it. We went to court fighting against the use of Child and Family Service allowance money. We won that case. And now we're taking this government to court because they never changed their policy. They never changed the funding formula. They still keep on cutting us short of the child social allowance money that's set aside for kids to use to operate. So that the government is behind itself here. I'm talking about the Canoe government, and they need to catch up. They need to fix that policy that was created by Pallister, and they actually try to create a legislation that you can't sue him. You know, even though he changes everything to make sure that you fail, you still can't sue him, and he knows he's setting you up to fail. But he lost that argument in court. So, but it just shows you that that's a serious matter. And Mona, of course, I trust strong as my minister, is working very hard, and so does the staff. We have, I can claim without problem that we have some of the best child and family service staff in the country. They work hard, they're dedicated, they take their job as like they're running their own company, like they're running their own family. And so I'm very, very proud of our agencies and the work they've been able to accomplish with what little money they have at their disposal. So we're hoping that this province will come to terms. You know, there's right now alone, there's about 340 staff, estimation, out there, and we're not paying them properly. And how can you stand for the Manitoba public and say, well, we're giving non-Indigenous agencies the money to pay them more appropriately, but we're not going to give them Métis the money?
No.
Because we have to let them underpay their staff, which is absolutely racial, discriminatory, and absolutely wrong. So we're working on that, and keeping. I just got posted the other day. I got a call up there, and Mona was giving me a brief, which was in telemedia. So everything seems to be in the right direction. We're giving the right information, and the rest of it is just about what's going to take place. If the province is going to do right, or are we going to end up fighting back and forth? I hope they do right. The other part is that everybody's heard now that Trudeau has resigned, effectively upon the new leader being selected, which is March 9th. And that election of leadership will take place, and there's certain candidates already coming out expressing their interest, and so we'll see where that lands, and we'll see what that new leader has in regards to where does the Métis fit in his agenda, and we'll be questioning on NDP, where do we fit in your agenda, and we'll be questioning the Poilievre government, where do we fit in your government, in your future, and hopefully they'll tell us that we do fit, and each party will say, of course you fit, you're a Canadian, you're a taxpayer, you're hardworking, you're rights-bearing people, you have protection in the Constitution of Canada. Of course I have a responsibility to make sure that I continue to work with you. So, and you're a regular Métis citizen. So that's something we'll be pushing hard, but that election will take place. Now, everybody's heard this word proroguement, the government's prorogued. All it really does now is that the Parliament will not come together until they come with a throne speech. Probably March, I think, 24th, they're talking about, where the throne speech will come out and Parliament will resume. And then probably they'll vote down the budget. And then from there, there'll be an election call within 35 days. But in the meantime, even though Parliament can't pass legislation, can't pass any new laws or anything of that nature, they still are. The Prime Minister is still the Prime Minister. He still governs. And so is the ministers. They still govern. So this doesn't stop Bill 92, for example, child and family, from being signed by Patty Ijo. We're pressuring her. They indicated to us they'd be signing it in January. Well, early January 23rd is going to be coming very quick. I remember that because that's my birthday. And I'll be in Toronto in a hotel celebrating myself in Toronto. My baby says she's going to come there for the weekend and come celebrate my birthday with me. So I'll be turning 65 years old.
I know. My goodness.
Unbelievable, lad. Still, I don't feel 65. Trust me, I could take on anybody. And I'm lucky. I've got some good genes, I guess, in me. So my dad lived to the 80s, and my mom lived to the 80s, and so I got some good genes in me. So no, I don't. I still feel very good, share and vigor, and ready to take on the world if necessary to fight for my people. So, but again, that'll be where I will be in Toronto celebrating. And my baby phoned me yesterday and said, Papa, I'm going to come spend birthday with you. So that's something I'll have. I'll go out for dinner and phone my Joe Ning, my friend, and then we'll go out for dinner somewhere in Toronto. But going back to the proroguement and the government, so we still will be pushing on. I was texting back and forth with the Minister ISC, they call it Indigenous Service Canada.
Yeah.
So indicating that we need to continue finishing off the treaty in the context, even though it can with legislation, we still want to work on the language of the document that would go into Parliament, once Parliament resumes. And Parliament, for example, the polls might shift, things may change, and things are going to change dramatically with a new leader, because everybody's been able to blame Trudeau for everything that's gone wrong. And we are the ones that I think arguing that Trudeau's done many great things for our people, many things that never would have been there. So I think the Liberal government, I think Trudeau for that, and nobody's going to change my position on that, because at the end of the day, fact is fact, truth is truth. And no different than nobody's going to ever take my position away from Wab Kinew in recognizing, of course, Riel, recognizing St. Madeleine being returned to us. Nobody's going to ever take that away from Wab and us. That's something that will live in our history and our family. So, and if governments get jealous of it, whether it's the Conservatives or NDP, then show us what you're going to do for us, because we have a right as a Canadian and a taxpayer and a rights-bearing person and nation to get the truth or get the real plan of where we fit in, and we fit in. We won't forget it either. We'll always remember those relationships. So the improvement, as I said, will happen now. It's in play. So I'm trying to reach out to Trudeau. I'm meeting with him right away, because he's still Prime Minister. And I know the land claims is something that we still got to discuss with him and see where that can take it. It doesn't stop him from actually dealing with the land claim yet, because it doesn't take legislation to deal with the land claim. Right. And so, because it's a Supreme Court order, all it takes is leadership and commitment and resources. And so we'll sit down with hopefully this month, I'll sit down with the Prime Minister and get the question answered, so I can tell my people, what's going to happen to the land claims you promised us. We know the treaty can't move ahead now under improvement because Parliament is not sitting. So the treaty will come hopefully after the new government comes in. And if they live long enough, we may have a chance to new government. The election's supposed to happen in October 2025, but it looks like, according to everything we hear in the news, it's going to happen much sooner. So with that happening, will the new government still respect the treaty? I hope so, because it's the way of doing right and just. It's the process of correcting the historical wrong. It's also the process of following the law. So clearly, at the end of the day, any government should be able to quickly still support and adopt the treaty after all these years of negotiation. And we waited from 1870 for this, so it's a hell of a long time to be waiting, over 154 years for justice. So, but we'll see where it takes us, and we'll keep on advising our people and pushing the agenda. But we'll also look at the parties and what they're committing to, and hopefully it'll guide our people which way to vote and which way and why they. And that's why I always educate in the show here. I keep on reminding our people over and over and over, don't forget to go and vote. It'll take maybe 5 minutes of your time, 10 minutes, 15 the longest. But go out and vote. And because you need to be counted for, you need to be respected. And if you don't vote, they don't care. I don't care which party, whether it's Liberal, NDP, or Conservative, or Green. They don't care. If you don't go out to vote, they say, well, you don't make a difference to me anyway. Why should I worry about what you're saying or your concerns? I don't give a shit. You don't come out to vote. So
that's true.
That's absolutely true. They're not like us, but clearly at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. So I'm telling my people in the show, and I'll be telling you throughout the show, you keep on going out and make sure you come out to vote. And I'll give you all the information you need to what the parties are standing for when it comes to your families, the Red River, Métis people in the future. Sometimes I think you've got to support that. You've got to stand up for your government too, your nation, the Red River Métis Nation. Some may say, well, I'm going to vote for this party because they're cutting the tax, cut the carbon tax, right? And some say, well, I'm going to vote for this party because they're cutting carbon tax. Well, how does that help your nation? How does it help your family? How does it help your children? Taking on 16 cents, 10 cents here and adding it up to maybe a few $100s a year. How does it help your family, really? So ask yourself the question, as an Métis, as Red River, as a First Nation, and Inuit, and how does it truly help you? There's things, of course, we all want to support, for sure, senior citizens. Remember when our fraternity is 67 years old and the Liberals took it back to 65? You can start getting your pension at 65 instead of 67 again. So that made a big difference to a lot, especially Indigenous people, because we die faster than everybody else. So we don't have a real benefit of the pension plan, and we're going to die before we get there. You know, so I'm still talking smart. I'm still a few days away. I better not talk smart yet.
You better stay around a long time.
1 week in the hell of a change maker.
Oh,
yeah.
My goodness.
So, but we're hoping that the governments will use the common sense approach and not, you know, I'm using that, you hear that a lot from conservatives, but if common sense is real, then they should all have no problem whatsoever in supporting the continuation of reconciliation. Reconciliation should be fundamental to them. It's taken several hundred years to get where we are. It's going to, not Trudeau's in power for 9 years. He's made a humongous change to Indigenous people in this country. There's not a question about it. Whether it's passing the 100th, which is the United Nations Declaration, that took place, it's something that's now in law and legislation in Canada. They passed Bill C-92, which is child and family, self-government recognitions, and they spent a lot of money on languages, cultural focus, child care. You know, the federal procurement is which you hear a lot of debate happening now because there's potential billions for Indigenous people to earn there. And then economic development, whether from Métis Heritage or Heritage Center, and we got $23 million from them for that. Mm-hmm. So there's so much time after time again. There's so much things that they did. But the point is, will other governments want to keep that same pathway? And let's just hope that, you know, that they don't forget it took hundreds of years to get to this place, that we're so far behind and so mistreated. It's going to take more than 9 years to fix it. It's going to take at least another generation. Mm-hmm. And so they just need to invest in the long run. It's a win-win for Canada. So it's a smart move for any politician or any party. On the other side, I better get these birthdays before I forget them. Okay. I know that right now in Dauphin, they're having a big meeting right now. And of course, Francis Chartrand is the vice president, and Richard Janai is the executive member, along with PJ, Peter Fleming. And they're having a meeting with all of their local executives. They're right now, what they're doing is they're planning a 25-26 fiscal year. What's their plans, what they want to see, what does the locals want to see, what does the community want to see, where the focus should be for the region. I know they've been doing a lot of capital acquisitions themselves, building buildings. They're building some child care centers and houses in that region. So I think they're going to be asking their people, where do we need to go? Like, what's the number one priority for us here? So they're always working in that region, so I really applaud them. So good work, Francis and the team, and to all the locals, they give a big hello, big shout out for me. Mm-hmm. Now, happy 79th birthday is going out to Ambassador Clement Chartier, who's celebrating his birthday on Friday, January 10th. Happy 69th birthday is going to Dina Delaron, who is celebrating her birthday today, Saturday, January 11th. Actually, Dina used to work in Child and Family for us many moons ago, and she went to Northwest Territories, I think, for a while. I think she's back now. Mm-hmm. Happy 40th birthday to Jocelyn Conway. Was actually, I think, part owner is the owner with her husband downstairs at the restaurant at the MMF at her birthday Sunday, January 12th. Okay. And happy 78th birthday went to Hester DeCharme. Your sister Denise called me today. Said, don't forget my sister. It's her birthday. So her birthday is actually Sunday, January 12th, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And happy birthday is going to my minister, of course, fisheries and so forth, Daryl Furlan. And he's celebrating his 55th birthday on January 13th. So there's a lot of people still really happy. And in fact, there's a lot of birthdays coming up for my family, too. Like Richard, his birthday, he's a minister of youth. Mm-hmm. His birthday's coming up. Kevin, his birthday's coming up. He's my other nephew, and I think there's a few others. There's a few other nephews. Daniel, my other nephew, his birthday's the same as mine, January 23rd. So is Sharon. Used to work in our housing. Her birthday's January 23rd. So there's a lot of birthdays in January. There's a lot of stories about that particular month for some reason. Yeah, so anyways, we got to go back 9 months. And why did everybody get drafted that 9 months prior, right? Right. So let's go back in history to find out why. But anyways, so happy birthday to all. Now, I'm sure I'll be mentioning quite a bit in the coming weeks. I also want to send condolences to David Gray, who's been with the MMF for many moons. He's a lawyer. He's a senior Crown attorney for one time, defense attorney. And his passing his father, Kenneth Gray, his dad died at 92. on December 31st. So I just want to make sure I send. They're planning a funeral later in Swan River. Again, David, our condolences go to you. Mm-hmm. And just for people that were asking, and this is from asking about an individual from that meeting, Garnet Chartrand. Garnet was Métis, took his treaty, but Garnet went worked at the Federation for a while, and he was doing well, and he got caught into drugs. He left his work and started doing more and more drugs in the world, and he disappeared. A lot of people have seen him everywhere. He was pretty good at conning people for money, and but he was a nice guy, really nice guy. And prior to his drugs, he'd give you a shirt off his back. He was really, really a nice guy, and loved to hunt, loved to fish, loved his family, and drugs took him down the wrong path, and took him into hibernation and disappeared from everybody. And because we'd lost him, and somebody said he died, and I said it can't be. And we would have heard. We didn't hear nothing of it. And actually, my sister contacted me just yesterday, advising that yes, he did die, and nobody was at his funeral. And so I feel so bad about that. And he was from that day, and maybe we'll figure out something to do for him to still have a funeral, even though he's buried silently, quietly. Probably nobody knew what happened, that he died, and I guess no way for that funeral home to advise the public, that they have a body here, right. Somebody. So I feel really bad about that, and it's kind of hurt yesterday when they were telling me about it. So he's probably a relative of mine deep down somewhere, but not a close relative. But still, at the end of the day, I hate the thought of anybody, his body, or them having no support or just dying alone. That's why we started the bereavement program at the MMF, to make sure that we can try to help people out. Right. That lose their loved ones. I got a friend of mine. He just lost his mom, Robbie John. They call him Bobby John. Robbie John is really his name, and Rob John, but his nickname is Robbie John. And so he just lost his mother too. So our condolences. I was sending them 2 days ago to my condolences to his family and to the loss of his mom. And so again, when at least you have a family, and definitely the mom's going to be taken good care of. There'll be a beautiful funeral. Mm-hmm. And it's sad when you see, like I just said, a funeral when there's no one there. Yeah. And so it can't be that you leave this world alone. So anyway, I thought I'd share a story because it could happen to anybody, and sometimes you lose your loved one, you don't know where they are, and then next thing you know, you hear they passed. So again, I'll say goodbye, and as I said, I think I'm still here Saturday, and then after that I'm heading to Toronto. So I have to stay in Toronto, as I said, for 2 weeks, and you'll find me out there, Cowboy. And take care. Thank everybody again for supporting the Métis Hour always. And of course, to all our elders, thank you very much for your guidance and support. And to our youth, never give up. Hope is always there. You can succeed no matter what. You trip, you get up again. You trip again, you get up again. That's our motto. You do not give up. That's I've always believed that, and I still believe it today. And that's what makes us who we are today. So we never give up. No matter what happens, no matter what comes out our way, we just get up and we go at it again until we get there. And we never stop pursuit of justice for our people. So as youth, I just encourage you, never give up your education dreams. And my baby just did 4 days of tests now. Doing 4 days. Oh. She was stressed like you wouldn't believe. She'd phone me, text me every morning. Papa, I'm going to my test this morning. Pray for me. Papa, the next day I'm going to my test tomorrow. Pray for me. I just was there for 4 days and tests. She just completed them. So I'm very, very proud of her. So again, take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
All right. You take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.